Hey, we're the restoration viewers. So no, you're not seeing double. There's actually two cars behind me. The one over on this side is an unrestored Bathurst version XU1 made on the 9th month, 1971 in Adelaide. That's my car. And this one here is a 9th month, 1971 Bathurst version made in Brisbane, which is Northern Australia for the people that are watching overseas. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through the differences between an unrestored car and a restored car. I would love to know in your comments what you think about both of these cars. And no, that one's not for sale, but maybe I might sell that one down the track. We'll see how we go. But I just don't think that me restoring that car will do it justice, because it's only like that once and it's done 85,700 original miles. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through everything that's taken place on this one over here, and then I'll show you everything that's factory on that one over there. So if you enjoyed these videos, don't forget to smash that subscribe and like button. So if you haven't seen my videos already, the one here on the left was found in a shed about a year and a half ago, along with the Shadow Mauve, which is sitting over there, that one, next to the green one. So they were sitting in a shed. These were both sitting in a shed for 37 years. This one here is unrestored. It's got the original paintwork on it. Look, it's not perfect, obviously, it was driven. I still drive it most months, if not weekends, depending on what the weather's doing. But you know, this is how it came out of the factory. This is how Holden made this particular car, and that one over there is how I've restored it, which is taking it back to as close to factory condition as I can get it. There's always more things that can be done to it to try and get it really, really close, but you know, it also depends on customers' budgets, etc. So talking about this one here, which is the one that I found, it's a very good example, clean example of a completely unrestored Bathurst XU1. It's probably one of two maybe that are unrestored in the country left. They made 299 of these cars, and what they did was they made them so that they could race them at Bathurst against the GTHOs, which, if you look over behind these cars here, you'll actually see the HOs. They're not phase 3s, I think they're phase 1.5 and 2, I'm not sure. But these cars were made so that you could race against those ones up at Bathurst, and they had to have the proper Australian CAMS requirements done, and they had to have a certain production number of these so that they could actually go up and be raced at the famous Bathurst race. So this is the first lot. That's the LC version, LC GTR XU1 Torana, and then in the years 1972 to 1973 they made the 73 XU1s, which are these ones here. You'll notice the fronts of them are obviously different if you don't know your Toranas, and that's the 73 as well. It's got a plastic grille instead of a alloy grille, and it's got some other refinements in it, boosters, brakes, etc., and gearbox. And ironically, these two, and the reason why I keep on harping on about the word Bathurst, is that these ones were released with the gearboxes in those cars, and also a few more adjustments that were made specifically for the incoming LJ XU1. So these ones have got 20 more horsepower than their predecessors, and they matched that particular XU1 over there. So they were the incoming LJ XU1s. So look, getting back to this car here, I'm going to take you through some of the things that have not been touched, which is pretty much the interior. The interior is basically nearly like the day that it was made. You can see that, forgive a little bit of dirt, but it's untouched. It hasn't been pulled to pieces. Original roof lining, you know, original gear knobs. Everything's pretty much the way that this thing rolled out of the factory. And the doors are beautiful. They actually shut like the doors should. It just makes that sound of a door that hasn't been off the car. And if I pull the bonnet, and they've both got bonnet releases, so I'll just open up this one for you. It's a 186 engine, which is a 3-litre inline 6-cylinder, and it produces 180 horsepower. As I mentioned before, the predecessor to these was 160 horsepower. So you know, with this particular car here, everything that you see is pretty much how it came out of the factory. There's some things that I've done to restore it so that you can drive it, obviously. I'm just going to put the oil cap back, and I just took that off. but you'll see that it's a runner. This is how it left the factory. All I've done is replenish the brakes, recondition all of those, the booster, the master cylinder, and a few other consumables, and I've replaced the radiator because this is, the other one was absolutely gone. But these are heavy duty 2-core radiators in this particular model only, because that was just one of the other defining differences between an XU1 and a standard Torana. You know, look, if we start to move over to this one here, you're looking at a beautiful restoration that's taken approximately 13 months. This one arrived to me on a rotisserie, very similar to the purple one that's sitting over here, which will be next after I finish the green one here, the liniment one. So this one's getting all its running gear put in shortly. But if you look at this one here, unless you've seen the photos of it, this is a stunning colour. It's a amethyst. Yet again, a Bathurst XU1. So it's so rare to have all of these cars sitting in the one place at the one time, but you get to see how amazing this car is going to be as well. Beautiful restoration on this one as well, thanks to the panel shop with Lonsdale Paint and Panel. So anyway, going back to these particular cars here, some of the differences also between these and XU1, they had a black fuel cap, which you can see there. Well, you had a choice of different diffs throughout the XU1 range, so you get a combination of 308 or 336 ratios. But you can see the difference in restoration when you go for everything that's new. This car is basically how it looks when you come out of the factory, pretty much. So there's a couple of small things that I'm still finishing off on here. I've got to put the horn ring in. But you know, if I open up the engine bay on this one, you'll see that, you know, this is pretty much how you'd expect it to look after it's been fully restored. So you get a really good idea of what this car would have pretty much looked like coming out of the factory, very close anyway, versus what's sitting over here, which is a used 85,700 mile Torana, which has been unrestored. And you know, we take that both into consideration, you'll see that they are beautiful cars, but yeah, just the one on the left, I don't really want to restore it. I don't want to touch it. I think it's, you know, I can certainly do that to it over there, but you know, for here, it was only ever like that once, and it's a survivor car. So kind of special and close to my heart, these particular models, and obviously that's what I do a lot of work on. I do work on other models of Holden's, but you know, if I look, I'm even doing some work on this FJ at the moment, but if you look at, you know, the shape of these cars and the fact that they've been Australianised and they've come up with something that is beautiful. I mean, you look at this side, that's acrylic paint, that's 2-pack. They never left the factory as good as this. I'll show you, I'll just open up the boots in this one, so you just get to see a difference. If I grab the keys, take you through the boot in this one. This is an Adelaide built car, so there are some subtle differences between the two states that built them. But you know, this is all original nibless rims sitting in there as a spare, nibless over there, and unfortunately that one doesn't have its nibless rims, but they might find them at some stage. They're just not cheap. And you look at, you know, the unrestored version, you've got, you know, that's what my floor looks like here. But it's factory, it's a bit of a light grey going on in there. But you know, everything's, you know, and this is a great template. You know, I use this template here so that I could produce, you know, that car over there. If there was things that I wasn't quite certain of, I could come back to this one and get the best template ever. You're never going to find one that's unrestored. It's very difficult. So I can use this for all of its blackouts. You'll notice that these are the blackouts here, and you'll see that they're factory. They're just not great. That's just how they were. You know, these were done in a hurry. You can see the bleed lines through there. And if you compare that to this boot over here, and I will get the keys for you. I'll grab those keys. I open up the boot. You'll see the key differences. And because they're Brisbane built cars, the boot was more black than grey. Well, there you go. And you get to see, you know, there's no bleed lines through here. You know, it's 2-pack and it's cleared, and it's had a huge amount of work to get that clear really flat, and then it's been ceramic coated. This is completely different to what came out of the factory. You know, but walking around both of these vehicles, I'm pretty lucky that I've got, you know, I don't think there'd be too many places in the country that would have 3 Bathurst XU1s sitting in the same place at the same time. So, you know, hopefully you're enjoying these videos. There's plenty more of them to come. What I'll do is I'll take some more footage around the cars and add that to this particular video. But for now, what's going to happen is this one's going to go off because it's basically finished. It's going to go off and get an exhaust adjustment and then get some tuning because it doesn't run well at the moment, which is not unexpected with those carbies. This one here, I'm just going to put back in the corner. And, you know, I'd love to know your thoughts. Should I restore them? That one there, or should I leave it as it is? But I'm probably going to sell it. I'll probably just sell it and let somebody else enjoy it because I've had it for a few years now. And, you know, I love driving it, but I'm keen to do some other projects as well. So. Comparing the interiors and sitting inside the car, this is the fully restored car. You can see that everything's basically like new, right? And it's even got a new car smell. It's just everything's done new. But, you know, you got to remember there's still 50-something-year-old parts. And if we go over to, you know, you see the door trim's nice and shiny, and you go over to my interior, and this is just how it came out of the factory, but yet again it looks pretty good. The door trims are still in pretty good nick, but some of the chrome's starting to fade a little bit, and the interior and everything is pretty much how it left the factory. So, you know, look, you just got wear, and it's done 85,000 odd miles. You just see it there. But you know, it's been used. You know, yet again, as I was saying before, I've only redone things in this car to make it safe. That's normally driveline associated servicing, etc. You know, you heard that door shut, older rubbers on it, but if you listen to these doors shut here, they've got new rubbers on them. So they take a little bit more effort, but they do shut. Just a little bit more of a thump, which is needed until those rubbers bed in. But, you know, if you walked into a showroom in 1971, that's what you would have been looking at. Something like that. Just a stunning, beautiful car with racing provenance against those things. And over there, it's one that's just been used. But it's the same. Acrylic paint, 2-pack paint. You know, the luster's not as there on the other one, obviously, because the paint's not as good. And, you know, there's some blemishes on the paint. You can sort of see them there. But it's pretty good for something that hasn't been restored. And how does it sound when I start it up? Well, I'll start it up for you. Now, the good thing about these cars is you always got to use your choke because those CDs don't like being started without them. Got a really nice note to it. Put that choke in. Let it just idle a bit harder. There we go. Notice that exhaust is an LJ exhaust, the same as that over there. So yet again, there's something else that was put onto these cars as the bridge between LC and LJ before that model came in. I'll start up the other one. Now the other one needs to be tuned, mind you, so it doesn't run as well as mine at the moment. And that's what it's going to be sitting here for. It's going to go off to get tuned. And start that precisely at the moment. Yeah, not too bad. Beautiful. You know, new, unrestored. Love to know, let me just turn this off. Love to know your thoughts. Put them in the comment section. What would you do? Would you, if you own one like that, would you restore it or would you leave it? Or are you the kind of person that wants one of these ones that's restored? Everything's new, nut and bolt, screws, nuts, bolts, the whole lot, fully rebuilt. Yeah, keen to know what everyone thinks.